Russo brothers, you sneaky guys.
Very sneaky.
Very. Hey guys, Victoria here, and welcome to the Geeky Sandbox. So, you guys may notice I am in a new environment. This is not my house. I am actually at my good friend Mimi's house, and she was one of the few people that got to go see Endgame with me, or I got to see Endgame with them. Whatever it was a pleasure. She's here with me to do a not non-spoiler review. Spoiler review. We're gonna do a spoiler review. I know, so shocking for this channel. We're gonna do a spoiler review over the movie Avengers Endgame.
Can y'all believe it? 10 years?
10 years!
I was in high school, sneaking to try to go see these movies at midnight. So this just goes to show it is definitely part of our childhood, and our growing up. So yeah.
So of course, we kind of go through most of my non-spoiler reviews by splitting things up because that helps me review movies. I envy the people that can make it all just like work within like 1 to 5 minutes, but we're gonna have to take some time because we got a lot to dive into. Robert Downey Jr., phenomenal, amazing, always. You guys know, like, I don't have the bobblehead here, which the bobblehead, oh my god, I call my boyfriend a bobblehead. Steven said if he was in any of my videos, Robert Downey Jr., the bobblehead Iron Man, had permission to just be him in all of my videos. So that he was that phenomenal. Yes. But yeah, he did a really great job. You can tell that he really cared about the character. People give Robert Downey Jr. a lot of crap. There was a little bit of that saturation, but I feel like, and part of it could be because I'm biased, but I feel like he was there for the beginning of this whole journey. So it made sense for him to be able to stick around and be there for every good moment. It's interesting just to see how much he loved and cared for the character, and you can see that throughout Endgame. Like, you could tell that he cared about what happened to that character. There was a lot of emotional, he brought a lot to his emotional performance as well, because there were a lot of parts where, we knew now he was being starved, or he was dying of starvation and dehydration while he was kind of floating off into the nowhere with Nebula and Star-Lord's ship. So he did a very good job even portraying something like that. Yes. So it was nice to see Iron Man have a clear beginning and a very clear end, because unfortunately he does die in the movie. Yes, I was crying. Of course I was crying. Of course I was crying. There was a lady somewhere in the theater sniffling, and I know she could hear, and she was like 2 seats away from me. Yes, Steven was looking for the source. It was just one of those things where I was like, I don't want to move because I'm already crying. And so my bangs were like covering my eyes a little bit. So I was like,
and you got to give it to him though, because he started it and he ended.
He had that iconic, I am Iron Man line.
In his fashion.
Yes, and as soon as he said it, I literally went like this and covered my face because I was like, he's gonna die. Chris Evans did a great job. There's this huge juxtaposition between how Captain America is just very traditional and you said patriotic, like this whole embodiment of like America versus Chris Evans, who's kind of goofy and loud, laughs at everything, very loyal, and just kind of sometimes vulgar too. Yes. So I like seeing that he's able to like put on a different hat when he plays this like everybody's man. We're not upset with how Captain America was portrayed and how Chris Evans rounded out that story. Some stuff with the character, I feel like that's more of a script problem.
Yes, and we're going to talk about
that. Mark Ruffalo.
We love him.
Yeah, in this movie he was Professor Hulk, so he wasn't Hulk, he wasn't just Banner. He was always Professor Hulk the whole time.
They go back to 2012, and of course he's trying to play a ruse like he really is, the Hulk, and he's like, and it's just like, oh, we want to see him smash. I mean, we're very excited and happy for him because he has this whole new persona. He's around kids. Kids want to take selfies with him.
Oh my God, yeah.
But he does not have that rage. He is not that big, just ready to smash stuff type of Hulk. So it is different. We see him in a different light.
You got to see a little bit more of Mark Ruffalo's personality shine through him being able to be Professor Hulk too. That was literally Mark Ruffalo just painted green with his actual glasses and like gray like scruff on his face. In regard to our major characters, Thor, of course we have to talk about Thor. Okay, so Chris Hemsworth is an amazing, beautiful man. He is funny. He is intelligent. Gorgeous. He's smart. He just has it all, and he's able to bring something to Thor that has made made his journey from that first Thor movie to Thor Ragnarok just something that everybody should see and
Lovable.
just know. Right? Very lovable. He's become this very lovable character because that's just Chris Hemsworth up there at this
And
point.
witty.
And witty. Like, I feel like he's able to hold his own, which hence that's probably why he got Men in Black 2.
3. Is it 3?
No,
No,
4.
4.
Yeah, I think
International.
That's
Yes.
what we're calling it. International. Men in Black International. We're back.
Yes.
We're back. He did a great job at like just keeping that character relatable. I guess I'll say that. Like, he was relatable in the sense, like, though he's this god, he's dealing with depression and that huge weight of feeling like he failed everybody. They do find Thanos within the first like 5 minutes of the movie.
And then the Avengers thing pop up.
Right?
And you're like, it's the first 5 minutes. Wow.
At this point, Thanos has destroyed the stones with the stones, and that's how they were able to pick up some sort of signature, and Rocket and them end up finding Thanos. Thor cuts his head off before they even get to really finish questioning Thanos.
Because he went for the head.
Right? Chris Hemsworth did a really great job making Thor this very relatable and silly character. However, in regard to the script, which we'll talk more about that soon, like we keep alluding to, Thor kind of became the running joke in regard to his arc wasn't very clean as compared to Iron Man and Captain America. Since we're talking about like our holy trinity here, Scarlett Johansson had a really good idea of like where Black Widow's mind was before and after that time jump, after Thanos' snap. So that was really interesting, just seeing her be able to have control over that.
Yeah, so he's not in the best light, and she knows that. Because they have this whole bit where she knows that he's the person that's going around killing people because he's taking it real bad. They show in the beginning of it, I know we're going to get into it with the plot, but just talking about his character development. In the beginning of it, he's with his family, and it's like, you're waiting for it. Everybody that was in the movies is waiting for them to disappear because we know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you know when it happened, it's going to get you right here.
Yeah.
So when it happens and he's like looking for his kids, his wife's not there, he takes it bad. He goes off and just starts killing all these different bad men. And she goes out and finds him and like, hey, we got a plan. We hope that it works. And then for him too, I think it really is cut and dry too. Like, we know where he was and where he's
like his story was very clear. Ant-Man, Paul Rudd did a great job.
Love him. I always love him. He always does great.
Do you want to take the rest of the Paul Rudd part?
No, go. He always does such a great job embodying Ant-Man. And I feel like that's what he done. Like, he got back. Thank God for the rat, right?
Right, the rat.
That hit it for him to come back. And he's like going around trying to find his daughter and trying to get it together. But I feel like he stays with his character. Like, they have this one scene where Captain America and Iron Man is talking. He's like, wait, what are y'all doing? What's going on? Like, he stays true to that character throughout this whole movie. And I just love it.
Yeah.
You do see that character grow from him that we saw in his movie with him in the Wasp. But you also see it more in this, that he does take the lead on them trying to figure out how are we going to be able to go back in time.
And that's something I do like, because I know one of the common complaints for Ant-Man and the Wasp was that they really put him in this box of being an idiot, and he's not
like that.
Not like that. Like, he still has like street smarts and book smarts, or at least enough to know how they could get back. Like, he figured that out all himself. Like, hey, I've only been in there for 5 hours. What's been 5 years for you has been 5 hours. So this is how I think we can bring everybody back. I like that they gave him that moment to shine.
And that spotlight, they did. And I love that. Because they gave it to him for him to be able to come out and let them know. Because if it wasn't for him, and I know this was one of the things that we talked about, we didn't know if Tony was working on that when he was at home, you know, in his present day life.
Karen did a really good job as Nebula. I mean, I know a lot of people like her. People love Doctor Who, so of course people are very loyal to her portrayal as Nebula. She gets to interact with her former self. So her seeing the difference of how she was
versus her now. Yeah,
it was interesting.
And even on the ship, they show her and Tony having like this.
Oh yeah.
You know, like she really comes in and saves him from what was going on with him. I don't know. He had some type of
the infection from whenever Thanos stabbed him. Is what I'm thinking that was from.
And she aided him, and she's been there for him. She picks him up off the floor and puts him in a chair. They're playing football, with each other, and it's like
they're playing football. Like that definitely shocked me.
Yes, and they're building a relationship. She's still her cold self, know. I don't, that's gonna be her.
To care for him.
Yes, and it shows those relationships were built.
Yeah, and I like that like even though they didn't have a lot of time in the movie, they still took the time to show us that about those two characters, because I know I'm not the only person. I was like, how awkward is that ship ride back?
Who plays him? What's his name?
Josh Brolin.
I feel like he always does a good job.
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Thanos.
He did a really good job as Thanos. Of course, like Thanos was like one of the best Marvel villains, and
ever.
I do like Thanos's realization of, like he came from that naive place of being like, I'll just erase half of all existing life in the universe, and then we can thrive and start over. And then now realizing that he has the Avengers on his ass again, he's just like, okay, so maybe I should have like erased all of you because you are ungrateful and you'll never forget. So maybe I'll just start the whole thing over. I like that realization of him being like, oh my God, like this, I made a mistake. The cast overall, they're a big, nice group. Like I said, there's always that issue with there being so many people, so not everyone gets their moment to shine. Thor was a mess. Like he was in a really bad place, and so at the end, he's kind of accepting like, okay, I'm kind of a mess. Maybe I don't need to be the king of Asgard, but we didn't really get to ride with him through that journey, and I feel like that's where I feel like they wasted him as a character for that, like for the movie. Like I feel like there was more they could have done with him, but then the movie probably would have been like 5 hours. So, I mean, I understand why they decided to pick and choose what they could do. And who knows, there's probably a lot of stuff they cut out. But definitely, if there's one thing I've been telling people I'm very disappointed about is that I feel like he was there for laughs, which is great. But like that sense of us, they wanted us to still feel for him when he decided to let go of Asgard. Because that does happen. And it's like, wait, what? Yeah. That's like the reaction. It's not a like, I understand.
We wouldn't think that, and we talked about that too, we wouldn't think that he would just give it up.
Not like
that. And then just go, I'm going to go be, I'm going to go get on the ship and just, go through the whole space. I don't think that he would just, not like that. Yeah. They didn't build enough for that, but like you said, movie would be 13 hours long if they gave enough time for everybody to build. It's so many characters. There's so much going on.
The Russo brothers not only did a good job with marketing, but they did a good job with making sure each of these characters had somewhat of an arc. If you had to say overall how you felt about the plot in the script, how would you say you feel?
I feel okay. I think if you're more of a comic book person, or you're those people who have seen all, I don't know if it's 21 and 22, if you've seen all of those films, then you will come away being emotional at first, but then your mind starts going and you're kind of like, wait a minute, this, but I say overall, I'll give it a C+, B-.
When you go home and you start talking to other people that saw the movies versus people that read the comics and versus people that had other expectations, like you do start to see holes in the plot, because one thing everybody knows about time travel's messy as just on its own. Time travel can be very messy because we have all these different types of movies where time travel is treated differently. They even make a joke in the movie. Don Cheadle's character, War Machine, makes a joke in the movie. He's like, you have Hot Tub Time Machine, you have Back to the Future, you have this, you have like A Moment in Time. Like he starts naming all of these movies where time travel is treated so differently. So his character is kind of like, well, so what are we dealing with? The whole plot is Thanos destroys the stones. There's no way for them to bring everybody back. There's a 5-year time jump. Within that 5 years, Ant-Man accidentally gets to come back because a rat like ran over like one of the panels.
Thank you, rat.
Long story short, he goes back, tells everybody this very well thought out plan about what he thinks they can do, and Tony's just like, absolutely not. No.
Because he has a family now.
He has a family now. It's fast
5 years later.
5 years later, he has a daughter named Megan, I think, or Morgan, and then like him and Pepper, they're obviously still married and all of that. You want to go back in time, get all the stones before Thanos does, and then snap and bring everybody back.
And Pepper allows him to go. She tells him, I don't want you to feel resentment. Kind of like, I don't want you to resent that you didn't go do this, that you didn't help them out with what you have figured out about time travel. Go help them because they're going to need it. And she's definitely right. They did need it.
Yeah, they did need it. They had 3 different teams. One team went to New York because at some point in New York they figured it out. In 2012, the Mind Stone was there, the Space Stone was there, and the Time Stone was there. Tony, Cap, and Ant-Man, who go back to 2012 New York and Banner.
And Banner.
In order to get the 3 stones I mentioned.
Yes.
Meanwhile, on Asgard, that's where Thor and Rocket who go and get the Reality Stone. You had Nebula, which this was a kind of a weird team, but it makes sense why they did it now that we know, since they used Nebula as a plot device.
Yes.
Nebula and War Machine went to oh my god, we completely forgot.
We forgot the other
the
stone.
Power Stone.
The Power Stone.
Yeah, of course, the Power Stone. They both went to get the Power Stone. I think it was Morag, Morag is where Star-Lord was before he got the stone. Vormir, where Red Skull is, that's where the Soul Stone was. You had Black Widow and Hawkeye that went to get the Soul Stone.
And it makes sense to send them to.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, the more you like go back and look at that scene, it makes sense why those 2 would go do that rather than them being friends. It's like, oh, y'all don't know what y'all aiming for. One of you can't leave here.
Right.
And Red Skull told them that, and it was a nice cut, and it's just that whole moment of them being like,
both of them fighting to die.
Yeah.
For one another. And it ends up being Natasha because she wants him to be able to see his family.
Bruce is telling everyone that, okay, if I take this, if I take the Time Stone out of New York, we can use it now, but I can put it back. And that's not going to affect the present or the past. We do get to see the Ancient One again from Doctor Strange, of course. It was great to see her again.
Yes, love her.
And Tilda Swinton did a great job just kind of explaining, like, look, if you do take this out, even while it's temporarily gone, you're going to create another alternate, like, timeline. And that messes with my stuff.
And I can't let you have it.
I can't let you have it. And so he does explain, well, then why did Doctor Strange give it to Tony? And that kind of changes everything for her.
Because she's like, okay.
Yeah, she's like,
because Doctor Strange isn't even really Doctor Strange yet.
Oh, no.
Because when he comes to her, she's like, oh, yeah, you're 5 years too early. So it's like she already know, like, something is going on. So I love that.
Yeah, that was a nice moment. She's like, you're 5 years too early. Now, what are you doing here?
Right.
What do you need with him? Yeah.
Yes.
Because she knows that he's just going to be one of the best sorcerers. So she's just like, pump the brakes. What are you doing here?
Yeah, she even says he's the best out of all of us. And
Which
it's crazy because he hasn't, it's not even his time yet. He's at the hospital still. Like, yeah. Great moment.
Really great moment.
It does have some inconsistencies. And it's like some of them are like, well, you set it up and then you come back later on in the movie and tells us, well, that's not really true either.
Yeah.
So it kind of, they have that going on with the plot.
Yeah, definitely. When I got home, I talked to another friend of mine, Monica, and she was like, they kind of went against the science of everything they said they were doing in some ways. And I feel like that might have been one of the only bones she had to pick with the plot. Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, him and Captain America's arc as a duo was nice too, because they didn't like just jump back into being buddy pals.
It shows that they just don't get back glued. You know, him and Captain America and Iron Man, they don't get right back glued. Like, it shows that they had to try to go back and build that type of relationship with each other. And it wasn't until a point in the movie where, yeah, we really gonna have to go get this Infinity Stone from somewhere that we didn't even think we was gonna have to get it from. Yeah. They couldn't retrieve one of the stones, so they went back further, which takes them to the base, the army base, where Captain America is created. And Tony gets to see his dad. He gets to talk to him and actually have that moment with him. And they have this awkward hug.
Oh my God.
But you could tell it did so much because Tony's a father now. And he gets to meet his actual father
before he was born.
And it's an amazing moment. And again, they give so much nods to Tony in this movie, and it definitely showed, especially with that, a great moment.
No, definitely. The first person that does put on the glove is Banner, because he's like, there's gamma radiation in that.
Y'all are not strong enough.
Yeah, he's like, you guys aren't strong enough. I need to put it on. Puts it on and literally like burns his whole arm to a crisp.
It's a whole crisp.
But
he does get to snap.
He does get to snap, and at the first snap, he brought everybody back. Nebula comes back. Her conscience is like linked up with her present self. So Thanos, I like that they did that personally, because I like that Thanos was able to catch wind of what was going on because it would have just been, in a perfect world, they would have gotten all the Infinity Stones, snapped, got everybody back. And I like that there was a little bit of an obstacle there, because I feel like if there had been no obstacle, the movie would have definitely been boring. And it would have been a thing of like, we didn't feel like they really won. Yeah. You know, there needed to be some kind of obstacle. Plus, people like Thanos.
And she ties herself up to the ship. She plays like she's the modern day Nebula. Get back with them. And then she brings Thanos back. Yeah,
from the past, she brought Thanos to the present timeline to stop everybody. And that kind of leads us to the big old battle that happens within the movie and whatnot.
And everybody you ever known to ever be in the Marvel, they were there.
Wasp was there, M'Baku was there, like Shuri. I'm pretty sure
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch was back.
Everybody.
And one good line from Scarlet Witch, though, was Scarlet Witch was just like, you've taken everything from me. And at this point, Thanos doesn't even, he's like, who are you?
Oh, and she's mad. So she started breaking him down. And I will say, that was a great moment for her. They showed some of her power. They didn't show all of it, but they showed some of her power. They showed
some of it. Another great thing we found out that happened in regard to the plot. Cap is worthy. They confirmed that he's worthy enough to lift the hammer and whatnot, and he's like kicking Thanos' ass with the hammer, and everybody's loving it, and him and Thor are like having good banter on the battlefield, just kind of like trying to trade weapons, and Thor's like, no, this one's mine.
One of the best moments, I think.
That was very good. Everybody was, literally everybody was cheering in our theater, because everyone was like, what?
Yeah, like, we knew it.
Yeah.
He even says it, Thor even has, he said, I knew it. Like, I knew you could do it. Captain Marvel did show up, so at the part that they're all getting beat, like, we're thinking again in our hearts, like, Thanos is gonna win. The missiles point other way, and they're like, what is that coming in?
All right, you see, all you see is like glow, and everyone's like, it's her.
And then you have this wonderful part where all these different Avengers are trying to catch, catch the
football with the glove.
And it's amazing how they're just trying to throw it. She finally gets it, ends up losing it, and here's Doctor Strange telling Tony
from across the field, just one opportunity, which we made a joke, like, how in the world could he see that from way over there?
He said earlier that he couldn't tell him.
Oh yeah,
if that was the one. So I guess this is partly cheating.
It was poetic to see Tony snap. It was very sad, like I said. All of us did think Cap was going to be the one to go out. Which
he does.
Yeah, he, as much as people don't want to admit it, he went out in his own way, which a lot of people are kind of on the fence about. Some people are really happy because a lot of people like Peggy. I loved Agent Carter. I love that show.
Yeah.
And I like Peggy. I love that whole thing with her and how her and Steve were when they first met. But there are some things with that where it kind of felt like, okay, this part is fan service.
Okay, well, now we have to return the stones back to where they're supposed to go. Okay, Cap, him and the Hulk is in a
sling. He's just
I mean, that's so crazy that his arm is still messed up.
Oh, God.
So he's in a sling, and he gets on the platform, and he's like, okay, we're going to count to 5, and you should be back. And they're counting 1, 2, 3. Can't bring him back. Can't bring him back. And then they look over Falcon. Was it Falcon that looked over first? And saw him sitting on the bench. So the viewer goes along with Falcon, and they see that he's old. So
yeah, old Cap, everybody.
Yeah, he said that he went back to go do some of that living that Tony was telling them. But my whole question was if that did happen, why didn't he do it on the platform like Ant-Man did whenever they were playing around with going back?
What happened when he went back? Like, did the other events take place? Or was
he just sat there? Because that doesn't sound like Captain America to just sit there through all the other things
still had the shield
going on. Yeah. He gave him the shield to pass it on. So it was fan service, and it was cool to see him passing on the Falcon. Yay, Falcon. But it's still, it still didn't add up with what the rules that they set up for themselves in the beginning.
The Russo brothers did a really good job trying to satisfy most of the fans while also making a movie that was 3.5 hours long, that they tried to tie everything in. There were a few hiccups and bumps here and there where maybe you poked holes in something when you got home, or maybe you woke up the next morning and maybe you weren't feeling, I don't know, Nebula's storyline, or maybe you weren't going crazy about how they brought everybody back and who was there and who wasn't. Like I said, there's always a lot of characters in these types of movies, so somebody's going to get left in the background. You can get 2 seconds with T'Challa, maybe that's what it was that you didn't like. Maybe Spider-Man was doing too much. Like, there's always something where it's just not going to be perfect. But I do still feel like the Russo brothers did a really great job in regard to the script, the characters, and
giving fan service.
Giving everybody something they can leave the movie being happy about. And just a side note, Peter, he obviously has no idea who Captain Marvel is because he's been dusted. But he's like, oh, good luck getting that through. And I'm like, do you know who you're talking to?
She could do it by herself.
And she was like, before she even said that she could do it, like, all the other women of the Marvel Universe just kind of stepped up.
Montage.
Like, Okoye, Hope, like, who else showed up? Valkyrie, like all everybody. The women. Pepper was in the rescue armor that Tony made for her, which it was cute seeing them fight side by side. Yes. Like, you know, Pepper can be a little like, but like I thought that moment was cute, and I know Steven liked it too. I was like, aw. Yeah. But like it was a really funny moment to see all the women of the Marvel Cinematic Universe just kind of step up. Mm-hmm. I was almost hoping Jane would pop out of nowhere and be like, hey, yeah, me too. I feel like everything was shot well, whether it was CG or not. Yes. There was nothing that really took us out of the movie, I would say. Like, at least out of everybody that went, there was nothing where I was like, oh man, that kind of looked too weird. Right. Or Thanos his shade of purple was too dark. But,
dang. Everything in the movie did look great. They did a really good job with it. Like Victoria said, whether it was CGI or not, they did a great job. And like I said, those battle scenes, if you pay closely to it, everybody that has ever been in those movies over the span of 10 years is in there. And for them to be able to do that on that scale alone, that shows you Endgame.
Can you imagine being the person that had to edit that? Like, wow. My God. Another thing with the cinematography that we talked about was the how they reshot a lot of the old scenes for the movie.
You get to see the same 2012 that you were seeing when they all got together and everybody had that aha moment. Yeah. But you get to see it from a different point of view. Yeah. And it's so amazing how they do that. And of course, Loki, being himself, he's always looking out for himself, still. Like
popping up. Like, I thought it was nice that they got everybody back to reshoot a lot of those scenes. Yes. And most of it was very seamless too. See Captain America. He saw himself, his future self, and thought it was Loki pretending to be him. And I thought that was really funny. And they get to fight each other because America's ass. Tony sees Cap in his suit and said, man, that suit didn't do any favors for your ass. And you have tiny Ant-Man on his shoulder like this, and she's just like, sir, he's like, that's a great ass. That's America's ass. And it just becomes like this best bit, and everybody in the theater is just literally laughing. Yeah. The music was very good. It was smooth. It was seamless. Nothing really popped out. Nothing was awkward. Mm-hmm. I do like how they played Thanos' theme. You know how he sat at the end of his cabin at the end of Infinity War. That song, I love that song that they play. They play it again after Thanos gets his head cut off. So I thought that was really funny and like poetic. Overall, I can still say that I'm sad that it's over, and I can't believe it's over. Like, I remember leaving saying, I don't want it to be over. Like, I'm just this child. But it's like, I didn't want it to be over because the core Avengers, like, everyone involved, at least our main roster involved in those first few movies, they're gone. Yeah. Whether it's because they're going on their own adventure or they're just no longer going to be in any more movies as actors. Mm-hmm. Like, all of that is going to be different. And I think Marvel might just start focusing solely on solo movies while they figure out what they're going to do with their new Fox characters. With that, guys, there is no post-credit scene.
They ended for real.
They ended it for real. And you just kind of get like these really nice pictures of the actors.
And signatures.
Their signatures in the middle. At least the main six. Yes. Like our core six, you get their signatures and really, really, really nice photos from the first time that they stepped on the screen as their character for the most part.
Amazing.
Yeah, very amazing.
They did such a great job to close it out, and I think by them not having an ending scene really let everybody know that we named it Endgame because this is it. A whole decade.
Yeah, this is the end of this chapter, whether you want to believe it or not. What do we rate this movie? Out of 5 geeks, I would give this movie, in classic Geeky Sandbox fashion, my camera died. I really need to get a new camera or a new battery. Like, I've been having one battery since day one. So imagine having one battery for like almost 2 years. I have to charge it in between videos. But anyway, that's not why you guys are here. I promise I'm gonna get the new battery. I promise. You can't there. I would probably give this movie 3.5 out of 5 stars, which is what, like a B?
Yes.
Yeah, that's about a B.
C minus, B plus, a B.
So probably, what is that out of the geeks? 4? 3.5, 4?
3.5, 4.
Yeah. So we're in agreement. So if you combine us, we're about 3.5 to like 4 geeks.
Go see it.
But anyways, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a like rating down below. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can get more videos like this one. And of course, if you want to check out Mimi's YouTube channel, she's getting all of her stuff started there. You want to tell them what you do?
Yes, this is gonna be vlogs. That's what I'm gonna start off doing is vlogs. So y'all can follow me in my everyday life. It's gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna put the link to her channel down in the description, or the description. Description. There we go. Description. So that way you can be a part of her subscription. There you go. And until next time, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.